Hello, everyone.
Welcome to the Love Hour. Introducing a show that's keeping it real with Coach Ross coming off mute, where you can hear candid and real, true conversations with Coach Ross and her guests. Topics to be discussed are child support, ministry, business, homosexuality, relationships, and many of those other not so comfortable conversations that we truly need to have. Tune in to Keeping It Real with Coach Ross.
It's your time to come off mute. It's your time to share your story, experience, and testimony. It will inspire others.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be coming today on a special day, which is International Women's Day. I came to on here to just encourage you guys, just talk to you a little bit. Right now, I don't have anybody tuning in, but hopefully on the replay, someone will tune in with me. But I want to say Happy International Women's Day. A lot of times we get so caught up in our everyday, routine and, work, the children, and we have so many hats that we wear as women. Celebrating women on this International Women's Day is a wonderful thing to do, but we should celebrate our sisters every single day. We should build each other up. We should push each other forward. We should be about our Father's business, loving each other. So I just got off of a global celebration of women internationally. While a lot of you here in the U.S. was sleeping, I was getting up to prepare for this speaking engagement that IIU put on. And even as sitting there with all my beautiful sisters and brother that was on the event, all I could think about is how God has opened so many doors for each and every one of us to be able to speak all over the world, to connect all over the world. And women, sisters, and even the gentlemen, we all should support each other more. I mean, one of the things that I notice, a lot, especially on social media, is you have a lot of people that may follow you. Um, like my friends list stays with 5,000 friends. But when it comes to support, you rarely have anybody support. Um, and I don't really, it's really one of those things where we just got to do better as sisters, pushing each other forward. When people do take out the time to do things for you, be appreciative, just by showing up, just by being there for each other. And even if they don't do for you, even if they don't show up, it's all about pushing each other forward. Luke 1 and 45 says, "Blessed is she who has believed that the Lord will fulfill his promises to her." Some of you right now are in a place where you feel like, you know what? There's so many things that I know God has promised me, but I don't see any of it happening. And you want to give up because you don't see the manifestation of his glory, or you don't see things coming to you the way you think that they should be. Don't give up. Giving up is not an option, my sister. Giving up is not an option, my brother. And I know it gets hard. These past few weeks, when I tell you that I've been under attack in my body, um, God has healed me from so many different things. And, Crohn's being one of them, a stroke being another. Um, so many times, the doctor had one report, but God had another. And I believe the report of the Lord. But even with that, I had been anywhere I could go, testifying of the goodness of God, and how he delivered me, and how he how he healed my body. And do you know that as soon as I start making those confessions, here comes the enemy to try to um, knock you down, so to speak. The word of God says the weapons will be formed, but they will not prosper. And so the first week, I went in for a checkup. I know I had had a few little kind of aches and but nothing major, nothing major, a migraine and kind of aches in my body. So I went in for my regular checkup, and I had told my doctor that I had a few little aches or what have you, but nothing, nothing major. And that particular morning, I got up and ended up throwing up. I had felt sick at the stomach and just threw up one time. Um, and I was good. And so I didn't feel like I was sick. I just felt a little, like I said, just a little something. So my doctor said, we're doing all of your yearly checkups. So let's go ahead and just just to be on the safe side, I'm gonna go ahead and check you for the flu, for COVID, and for strep. I was like, okay. Well, it came back positive for strep and the flu. And I was like, no way. Like this was the first time I didn't feel sick and go in, because I felt real sick. Like I said, I threw up one time, but it wasn't like it lingered or anything. I felt better after that one time. So I was thinking it was something I ate the night before. So I was out, a whole week, kind of quarantining myself away from everybody. But I had the flu and strep, and I rested and everything, and got in my word even more, and all of the things that we do when our days are interrupted with sickness or something changes. So I go back to work or what have you, and then um, I take my daughter. Like actually, I take the back. I didn't even get to go back to work. I take my daughter the day before I'm getting ready to go back to work. I take my daughter to the orthodontist, and we're leaving the orthodontist, and I stepped down to go off the curb, and I fell. And when I tell you I fell hard. And I was like, oh my goodness. And my daughter was like, Mom, are you okay? She was really worried. Do I need to call somebody? What? I was like, no, just let me help mommy up. I'll be okay. And so I felt, a little sore, when I got up. I'm 50 years old now, so these bones are doing a little bit different. I mean, I know somebody out there saying, honey, 50 ain't old. And I'm not saying old like, I got to get my walker and things to that factor. Um, thank God. But what I mean is, my body is not what it used to be. And so I found myself really going, Lord, what is going on? Um, why did I fall? Like, why is that happening? You know, um, and that I won't say that night, because again, remember, I was supposed to go to work the next morning. So that night I was aching and everything. About 5 a.m., I got up to go use the bathroom, and I could not get out of bed. I had to wake my husband up to help me out of bed. I was hurting so bad. I mean, barely could walk to go to the bathroom. It was just horrible. And so then hubby was like, "Oh, babe, you need to go to the hospital, And I kept, "Oh, I'm okay. I'm gonna be okay. Let me just take some medicine and rest. I'm just probably just sore right now. I'm gonna be okay." Then my baby girl called me and we were talking, and I mean, the pain was getting y'all unbearable. Like the only thing that I could compare it to was my childbirth. Like, I had natural childbirth with no meds, very high tolerance of pain. But I mean, that pain was almost unbearable. And so my daughter took me to the ER. I stayed in there from 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 a.m. Um, but they found out that I had bulging disc in my back. I messed up 5 discs. The man told me 3, but when I looked at the report that they gave me, the printout, it was 5 discs that were messed up in my back. So for 6 weeks, I'll be on, um, basically being home and taking it easy. Um, so even in the midst of that, God began to show me some things. A lot of times we move out of place. We try to, get in the thing of, okay, you know what? I'm going to make this happen to speed up the process of me getting this or doing this. And we move out of place without seeking God first. And so sometimes when we do that, we find ourselves in a place that we really don't want to be in. And we end up having to go back to the basics. And so that's what I found myself having to do in a lot of things. Now, even in the midst of me going through this with my back and my back hurting and things like that, I'm still having to appear on different platforms. I'm still, because I have already made commitments. So no matter how I feel, I have to still show up. And somebody out there right now, you've made some commitments to some things. You've said yes to some things, and you're expected to show up when nobody else will show up. And sometimes that's hard for you. But I just want to encourage you on today that no matter what you go through, you can't allow the enemy to stop you from moving forward, to being the best you can be, and to showing up. Sometimes just showing up, getting in the shower, getting dressed, putting the makeup on, doing the hair, doing everything, and just showing up makes you feel a lot better. We got to show up. We have to encourage each other as sisters. We have to encourage each other as women of God. We have to encourage each other. Psalms 46:5 says, God is within her. She will not fail. No matter what you go through in life, you may feel like a failure, but as long as God is within you, you will not fail. If you've started a new business and the business is not going the way that you expect it to go, I want to encourage you to keep going. Don't give up on yourself. No matter who gives up on you, don't give up on yourself. Keep going forward. Keep moving forward. Um, I'm going to, I don't know if anybody sees me out there because I'm so used to people being on my live and talking to me, but I don't see anybody, and I'm hoping it's not messing up. But, anyways, if anybody's out there that can see my live, let me know so that I know that I am on here and I'm not just doing something. Let me see. I think I got it on private. That's why. It's on private. That's why. So I'm over out here. I guess I was just talking to myself because it was on private. I did not know that. But anyways, you guys go ahead and anybody that's watching in now, you can see um that I'm on. That's funny because I came on here to talk to you guys and I couldn't see nobody. I'm like, where everybody at? Um, but again, I'm on here to encourage you guys to keep going. Sis, keep pushing. Bro, keep pushing. Keep pushing. Don't give up. Don't give up on your dreams. That's one of the biggest things that I've noticed a lot. Even with myself as an entrepreneur, a lot of times when I don't see my business doing what I expect it to do, I'll get a job, right? And let that job supplement my income so it can fund my dream. It's okay to do that, but you got to pray and ask God, is this a door I'm supposed to go in? Am I supposed to be getting this job? Am I supposed to be doing this or doing that? You have to seek God first before you make a step forward. That's one of the things that I'm learning. Um, we have come a long way as women, when it comes to equality. You know, um, I've been dealing with some things, just in life in general, but more so in the work field. You know, I was talking about watching, when you take a job. I recently took a position And for the first time in all the years that I've been working, I want to say in over 30, well, I can even say, man, 40 years, because I started working at 10 at my dad's restaurant, at the family diner. Waiting tables was my first job, and daddy and mama taught me about being an entrepreneur, and and doing business, as an entrepreneur. I learned that at an early age. So I've been through things on a job where I've gotten a job behind a man that was working in that same position. One of the jobs, he was a friend of mine, and then he left the position to me. And when I got in the position, even though I even had more experience than him, right? Excuse me. Um, I had more experience than him. They did not offer me the same amount of money that they offered him. Okay. And because we was a friends, he let me know, mm-mm, they paid me this much. They should have paid you the same, or actually higher, because I had more experience than him. Um, that was one situation. Um, Dealing with equality. You know what I'm saying? We've come a long way where there is some jobs that will give you what you're worth, and they will pay you, no matter what your gender is. They will pay you according to what you bring to the table. In reference to being equal when it comes to, even with dealing with females that are in leadership positions, what I found, when you have a strong personality, sometimes people, when you come into a workplace, automatically there's intimidation. And I found myself, when I've went into organizations, especially this last job, that I've been working on, there was a lot of intimidation. And like I was saying, in my first time in 40 years, that my first day working, the supervisor said to me, "I didn't hire you. Someone else hired you. You were not my choice. I did not want a woman in this position." And I was like, wow, I had never heard nobody tell me that. Um, I was really, really blown away. And so many things transpired at this job that I was just like, I wasn't used to. But one of the things that God began to deal with me with, as I began to pray about um, the attacks that I was getting, um, and everything, is that, you know what, you didn't come to me and fast and pray and ask for direction for that position. You were so focused on um, being able to supplement your income to move to the next place, to do the next thing. And I had to repent. I had to repent for not seeking God on this thing. And really, really, I'm in a place of being still. And so going back to, falling and hurting my back, and really, really having to lay flat on my back. And the Lord really, really had to minister to me during that time. Sometimes he had to make us lie down in green pastures so he can restore our soul. um, so I really, really, want to encourage you out there that's been going through, and it seems like you're going through hit after hit after hit, and this is a new year, and you're like, no, I've made my affirmations, and I've spoken over myself. I've commanded my day. I've did all those things, and I'm still seeing opposition. I'm still seeing things happen in my life that I didn't expect to happen. Be encouraged, and know that no matter what you're walking through, you are going to make it. You're going to make it. You're going to make it. I don't care what the enemy has tried to whisper in your ear and tell you that you're not. The devil is a lie. You're going to make it. You're going to make it through what you're walking through right now. And I know it's not easy. I know that, sometimes you may even want to give up. But, like I said again, giving up is not an option. It's not an option. You cannot give up on the things that God has told you to do. You can't. Um, you have to stay focused in a world where it seems like there's so many distractions. Yet and still, you have to stay focused. Stay focused on what God has told you to do. Stay focused on, and I'm just sharing the broadcast. It's why I keep looking down. But stay focused on the things God told you to do. You can't have tell anybody to do anything that you're not willing to do your own self. Okay. And I also want to talk about, starting your own business. If indeed God has given you a vision to step out on faith and start a new business, don't be afraid to do just that. No, it's not easy. Okay. Um, but you don't have to make it as hard for yourself. If you just really, really focus on what God has said, you know, this is the way I want it done, He's going to give you the blueprints. I'm a living witness to that. He will give you the blueprints. Okay. As a spiritual midwife, there's a lot of things that I can help you birth. And that's one of them: a business, a book, a ministry. Um, I'm here as a resource for you to help you push out what it is God has placed within you. Okay? Share this broadcast to encourage other women to be built up, to be in a place where they don't have to feel like I don't have a voice. This is keeping it real with Coach Roz, coming off mute. A lot of you right now have been muted. Someone has taken your voice from you. Someone has told you to shut up. They don't want to hear you anymore. You may be in a family where you're the youngest or the oldest or the middle child. And every time you have something to say, nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Come off mute. You have a story to tell. I have a show, Keeping It Real with Coach Roz, coming off mute. And on this show, it's to highlight people that have been quieted, that have been muted, that their story has not been told. I want you to be my guest. Come off mute. Tell your story. The world is waiting, not just to be on a show, to tell your story, but you can write that book. Share what you've walked through and you've overcome. Because there's some young girl that's going through and she's trying to figure out, how do I make it? How do I keep going? And she's going to pick your book up and she's going to get to hear your testimony and she's going to hear your story, and it's going to encourage her not to give up. Our children are facing things that we never dealt with in our lives. And a lot of them are committing suicide. A lot of them are going on, they're turning to drugs and things like that because we're not telling our story. We're not coming off mute. We're being quieted about the things we went through. And there's so many generational curses that I bind in the name of Jesus that tries to come after the same spirit that you fought is now coming after your daughter or coming after your son. So we as women have to stand up and fight for our children. We have to fight, single mothers that are so hungry for a relationship that they meet a man and they may know that man for a week, 2 weeks at the most, and then they move him into their house, not knowing that they just moved a predator in their house. They have young girls, young boys, and before you know it, They didn't move the predator in their house, and now their kids are uncovered to the predator. And God forbid the mother works and sometimes at night. And now you got a man you really don't know, and you done left him with your most precious commodity, your most precious jewel, your most precious gift, all at the sake of I don't want to be alone, all at the sake of I want somebody to hold me at night. I don't know why God took me this way, but it's for a reason. For maybe somebody that may not be listening now, but they may tune in later, as a re watching it for the first time or whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Listen to your children when they tell you, I don't know what it is. I don't feel right. Something's going on. Listen to your children. Young girls they're getting pregnant at a young age, and they're ready to give up because, you know, they may be put out of the house. Some people are very religious, and when that happens, they, instead of embracing the child and helping them move forward from that situation, some of them shun them, and these young girls end up, out on the street, homeless, or they go with the first person that shows them any type of attention. And sometimes that's a man that's going to abuse them and hurt them. You know, my book, if you haven't gotten Ocean's Journey, it tells a story of a young girl. Let me give you the video of Ocean's Journey.
A story where a young teenage girl life changes at the blink of an eye. Follow as she tries to find love and acceptance through tragedy and life situations. Take a trip along Ocean's Journey and be prepared for your emotions to go on one heck of a ride.
So a lot of you is waiting for book 2. It's coming. It's been coming since last year because the computer that I had written book 2 in crashed on me. So I'm working on getting it um, out of the computer. Okay, so it's going through technical where they have to try to, the techs are trying to get the book out. They said that they will be able to, though. So that's coming this year as well. Again, tell your story. Some of you may be worried about telling your story because you don't want someone to be offended by your story. I told some of my story in this book because I was a single mom. I was a teen mom. I got pregnant at 18 and had my son at 19. And I went through a lot of things, because I didn't love myself. I didn't have my self-worth in the place that it should have been in. And we are mothers. As women, we are mothers. We are daughters. We are sisters. We are ministers. We are leaders. We have a lot of hats that we wear in life. And sometimes we're everything for everybody, but we don't take the time out to embrace ourselves. Some of you have emptied yourself out so much that you don't have nothing else to give to anybody. You don't have nothing else to give to anybody. And you're like, I'm not even tripping. This is what it is. I don't have anything else to give to anybody else. I'm just gonna keep things the way it is, and I'm satisfied with it being that way. You can't have that mindset because you are somebody and what you're doing is important. What you're doing matters. It matters. You matter. You matter. Don't let nobody tell you you don't matter. Don't let nobody tell you that you're not important because you are. You're important. You're worthy. You're worthy for happiness. You're worthy to be loved. You matter. I can't say that enough. You matter. And I feel like I'm talking to someone specifically that really feel like you don't matter. That really feel like, oh, you know what? They told me that I was not important, that I ain't wasn't nobody. They told me this about myself. They told me that about myself. So you know what? I don't even care. I don't care what happens to me. You may feel that way, but sister, I want you to care. I want you to know that somebody out here in this big, beautiful world loves you and thinks that you are amazing. You don't have to give up on your dreams. You don't have to give up on your children. You don't have to give up on yourself. So stay encouraged and know that you're somebody. God don't make no junk. Okay? You are a designer's original. Y'all know my saying, as long as you got a pulse, you got a purpose. You have something that only you can do in this big and beautiful world. You have been called for such a time as this. No matter how hard it gets, stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. Stay encouraged. I can't say it enough.